Some of the most iconic movies in history hit us as hard as they do for one reason most people never notice: camera angles. Look at Scar from The Lion King for 1 second. Dark, smoke behind him, and the camera is still shooting up at his face from below. Now imagine that exact same scene, same lighting, same dialogue, but the camera's shot from above looking down at him instead. And he doesn't feel as villainous anymore, or even scary. He feels instead pretty small, weak, almost pathetic. It's the same character, it's the same movie, but one camera angle is the entire difference between a villain you fear and a villain that you laugh at. Camera angles are not decoration. They're not something you pick because it looks cool. Every angle tells your audience how to feel before your actor even says a single word. So today I'm going through every single major camera angle, what it actually does to your audience, and how the best films in history use them on purpose. You'll know exactly which one to reach for depending on what you want your audience to feel in that exact moment of your own video. Really quick thing though, before we get into it, I built a completely free cinematic sound effect pack paired with a free tool that tells you what key your music is in and what keynote your sound effects need to be in order to match the same keynote as your music. So it can help you tell a more seamless, polished, better story from an auditory perspective. Because picking the right camera angle only gets you halfway there. Again, it's free, it's in the first link right below this video. All right, let's start with the low angle. This is any shot where the camera is below your subject's eye line looking upward. A lot of new filmmakers use this angle just because it looks interesting on camera. But if you use it without thinking about why, you can accidentally make a weak character look powerful, or you can waste the one tool that could have made your hero feel unstoppable. The low angle makes your subject feel bigger than life, more powerful. And that's exactly why it's used on Scar in The Lion King. And it's exactly why the villain in the Avengers is shot from below, towering over the heroes, making them look small before the fight even starts. Use a low angle when you want your audience to feel like this person's in control of the room. Now let's flip it. The high angle. This is where your camera is above your subject's eye line looking down. And this is where filmmakers often make the opposite mistake. They'll shoot their hero from a high angle in a moment that's supposed to feel triumphant, and it simply kills the moment without them ever knowing why. The high angle makes your subject feel smaller, feel weaker, more vulnerable. For example, in Joker, there's a moment where Arthur is shown from above, completely alone. And that angle alone makes him feel abandoned before you even process the scene around him. Use a high angle when you want your audience to feel pity or fear or vulnerability for that character. So now you can make someone feel powerful or feel vulnerable and small. But what happens when you want your audience to feel like something, well, just plain wrong is about to happen? Well, that's the Dutch angle. This is when you tilt the horizon of your shot instead of keeping it straight. New filmmakers throw this in constantly because it looks stylish, but without intention, it just looks like a mistake. Like the camera operator basically bumped the tripod. Used on purpose though, the Dutch angle makes your audience feel like, well, the world around them is just off balance. It feels uneasy. In Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee tilts the camera more and more as the tension between characters start to build. So your body starts to feel that imbalance before the characters really even explode or the conflict happens. Use a Dutch angle when something in your story is supposed to feel wrong, feel unstable, or something's about to break. In fact, this is so often the case. My wife gets super annoyed at me every time we go to the movie theater because when we're watching a movie and I see a Dutch angle happen, I lean over and whisper to her, something is about to happen. Now here's an angle that seems boring on the surface, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools in your film when you understand what it's really doing. It's the eye level shot. It's where your camera sits right at your subject's eye line. No judgment, no power play here. Because it's the most common shot in film, people assume it's the least important one, just kind of like the default shot. The one you use when you're not trying to do anything special. But eye level is exactly why it feels so personal when a character speaks straight into the lens. For example, in Deadpool, when Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, he does it every time at eye level. And that flat, direct angle is what makes you feel like he's talking to you, not just to a camera. So use eye level when you want your audience to feel like they're standing right there in the room with you on equal ground with your subject. In fact, that's why most YouTube videos like this are filmed at the eye line. All right, but now let's talk about the angle that puts your audience directly inside a conversation instead of just watching one happen. This is the over the shoulder shot. You basically frame the camera just behind one person's shoulder, looking at the other person they're talking to. Skip this angle in a conversation scene and something subtle goes missing. The scene still works technically, it just feels a little flatter, a little more distant, disconnected. Over the shoulder shots make your audience feel like they're actually part of the conversation that they're watching on screen, rather than just watching it from far away. Literally any film in any TV show or movie is likely filmed this way. Here's just one example where this angle is used to either pull you closer to a character or subtly push you away from them, just by how tight or loose the shoulder framing is. Use it whenever you want your audience to feel present inside of a moment between two people. Last one, and this is the angle that does something none of the others can do. The point of view shot, or POV. And this is where the camera becomes a character's own eyes. A lot of filmmakers use this angle for a cool visual moment, and then they stop there. But that's leaving most of its power on the table. A true POV shot doesn't just show you what a character sees, it makes you feel what they feel because, well, for a few seconds, you're not watching them anymore. You are them. That's the entire reason POV shots show up so often in horror or action, from a monster's chase to a soldier's view of a battlefield. You need to use it when you want your audience to stop watching your character and start becoming them. And just a quick pro tip on this POV shot, if you yourself want to get really awesome, super cool looking POV shots, really doing anything, I highly recommend getting a super cheap $30 clamp from Small Rig that allows you to do this. It's what I use to get all of my POV shots. So here's the real lesson underneath all 6 of these shots. Low angle for power, high angle for weakness, Dutch angle for unease, eye level for connection, over the shoulder for presence, and POV to become the character. What's cool is none of these angles are there just for like decoration or looking cool. Each one is a tool that changes exactly what your audience feels. And the second you start choosing your angle on purpose instead of by accident, your videos stop looking like footage and start feeling like film. But here's the catch. None of these angles matter if the story underneath the video is weak. A perfect low angle shot and a boring character does nothing. Angle is just seasoning. Story is the meal. So if you want the full breakdown on what actually makes a story worth telling in the first place, then click right here to watch this video next where I break it down step by step. I'll see you there.